Most busy professionals think accountability is having someone on top of them 24/7 in order to make sure that they are staying perfect with their habits on a day-to-day basis. But that misunderstanding is setting them up to fail because A, being perfect with habits within the long term is nigh on impossible. And B, when you have someone who is constantly on your back and riding you to do X, Y, and Z, you are more likely to find yourself resenting A, that person, and B, not doing the habits that you should be doing in order to get the result you want. The majority of our clients who come to us within their free intro visit tell us that they need more accountability in order to get the result that they're after, but they're not 100% sure of what that means. However, down the line, when we're sitting down with them for their goal review, they realize they're a lot clearer with regards to what accountability actually means for them. And it's having a fixed appointment in their diary, knowing that when they come in, everything's going to be set up for them. They don't have any decisions to make. They don't have to think about what fitness is. They just know that they're going to be seeing someone who has set it up for them. And when it comes to nutrition and lifestyle, they have someone who's going to be asking those important questions as to whether they've been following the plan or not. That is what accountability really is. So it's very easy to think about accountability as this kind of simply an idea, not anything that we can physically grasp hold of. So what does it look like when a client works with us versus them doing it alone? Well, when they're doing it alone, often they go through this process of intent that they will set, and either they have decisions to make with regards to that intent, when they're going to train, what they're going to do, what that session looks like. Or before they even get to that decision-making point, schedule gets in the way and things get pushed back. The intent is easily movable and other things will take priority. One session gets missed and that might change their eating habits. It might change whether they do the next session or not. And over time, it becomes a longer break than intended with a vague restart. However, what we do with our accountability is turn all of that into a managed process. We set the plan. We produce the plan in a format that they can easily access, which removes all of the decision making for them, whilst knowing that there's someone on the other end, should things break down or things need moving, that they can talk to, reschedule, and reevaluate as they go. Now, a lot of coaching programs do build in some form of accountability, but it typically looks like an end of the week check-in and a well done. That's not what we mean when we do it at Thrive Fit. Whilst simple questions asking, how was your week? And getting answers like, pretty good, yeah, not bad, with a well done at the end might feel supportive, it's not doing anything to move the needle. The accountability that we implement that ensures clients make progress is looking at the gap between the plan and reality and doing something with it. Rather than just asking a question of how was things, pretty good, we look at it in detail ourselves. Did they train the amount of times that we'd agreed upon on the app? Did they get the amount of steps and check off their lifestyle habit? Have they uploaded their nutrition? And if any of those are no, it's asking the questions of why. What happened this week that stopped that? And what can we implement moving forward in order to make sure it doesn't happen again? For them, it's knowing that having someone on the other end is keeping track of how things are going and will make a change that fits their lifestyle should it be needed. And with that level of accountability, they are more likely to follow through, or as minimum, at least reach out to us and ask us to change it in advance of those barriers that they see in their week. And it's that level of personal support that a lot of people miss when they've tried accountability before. They've maybe tried a training partner when they go to the gym. Maybe they've tried an app to track their nutrition. Maybe they've tried a short-term group challenge. And whilst these might work in the short term, again, they don't have that personal support. A training partner has their own training to think about. They have their own life that might get in the way. A training or nutrition app isn't going to reach out with a personal message when they've not heard from you for a couple of days. A 6-week challenge has a little bit more of a personal touch to it, but with the amount of people that coach is having to oversee, more often than not, they can't afford the time to get real deep and real personal with your situation. Without that personal element and that knowledge from the coach of how their week looks, how their training looks, what their goals are, and everything in between, that form of accountability rarely holds anywhere near as well. Now, truthfully, some people believe that needing accountability is a weakness. They believe that with the intense desire they have in order to achieve their goals, they should just be able to do the things. So when they find that they aren't able to stay consistent, they feel like it's a them problem. They feel like they have poor discipline. The thing is, it's not a discipline problem, it's an environment problem. More often than not, their environment is not set up to be ideal for the actions they are trying to take. They rely on spare motivation, they rely on spare time, they rely on the hope that they have decision-making ability come the end of the day. Because their environment is not set up to allow them to succeed with their new habits, after a week, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, however long it may be, eventually they find that on their own, things fall apart. Needing accountability, needing someone to set their environment up for them is not a weakness. It is a smart decision that allows them to take the thinking out of fitness and let us do it for them, so that they have more energy, not only for the day-to-day working tasks, but also for the new habits they're implementing with their health and fitness. Now, there is a line between accountability that creates progress and accountability that creates dependency. And that was the trap that I used to fall in with regards to how I believed coaching should be done from an education and a long-term perspective. I wanted to avoid accountability that created dependency. But I soon realized that we can avoid that dependency by progressed education. It's by looking at the plan as a long-term rather than short individual blocks. It's knowing that as we progress through different training blocks and we build the plan out to get the client the result, we talk them through why it's changing. It's important that when we start them on their nutrition, if we are coaching by a meal plan, eventually we'll start getting some education around calories and progressing them through so that they're not reliant on being given a meal plan and told what to eat all the time. They eventually learn how to make up a meal on their own, how to track numbers if that's what they want. With every single step from training to nutrition to habits and lifestyle, it's about having clear progressions and education through them so that the only accountability they then need is not the knowledge side, but just the appointment to show up and get the work done. Now, this accountability that we factor in was truly evident with one of my clients who was going through a big move. He used to be coming here 3 times a week. His only training was with us because he had that appointment to show up. However, rather than living in Leeds, he moved over to York. He still worked in Leeds once a week, but he dropped from 3 sessions to 1 because he wasn't in the city as often. Now, watching him through that move and seeing how much of a toll it took on him, if he had not had that 1 session where he was coming in with us, he wouldn't have done anything. He didn't have a gym subscription. Without meal prep options, he reverted back to his old way of eating, which went against the goals that he had. So without coming here to see us, I have no doubt that everything would have dropped off. Now, don't get me wrong, that 1 a week wasn't ideal for him either. With the progress he was making, it did slow down. But during that period where life was busy, and it was a struggle to keep things going, he was able to at least keep things ticking over so that once things settled down, he could pick it all back up. Had he not had that 1 session and things would have dropped off, time would have gradually got further and further along and it would have made restarting harder. The value of accountability is not just in getting started, but it is in keeping things moving, even if it's less than ideal, when big changes in life happen. If you are someone who has been working on your health and fitness for a long time on your own and constantly finding yourself falling short, the honest solution to that is investing in coaching. It might not be what you want to hear. The ideal is always getting it done alone. But investing in coaching and the accountability that comes with it is consistently the element that we see moving the needle forward for our clients. And having someone in your corner, not only to make sure you do the things necessary, but to support you along the way and edit based on how your life looks, is the real game changer for making health and fitness progress. If you want to explore how that looks at Thrive Fit, you can click the link on our YouTube homepage and book in your free intro visit. Within that visit, we will set out your personal progress roadmap by finding out where you are now, what the barriers have been, where you want to go, and what the plan looks like specifically for you in order to get the results you want. Only then we look at what that investment might look like. Whether you choose to join us or not, that personal progress roadmap is yours to take away and start working towards your goals.